Aging gracefully. Well, you clearly are. You look like you're 35, so.
I mean, that's not that far away from how old I am. I thought you were gonna say 25, Kristen. You're trying to give me a compliment. Hello and welcome to another episode of Best Friends with Benefits. I am Noni.
I am Kristen.
And we're excited about today. First of all, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. So I'm having a birthday this weekend. By the time you hear this, I would have already celebrated. Kristen is about to have a birthday in just a little bit over a month. So we just wanted to have this episode to kind of reflect on 2020. I know a lot of people are throwing 2020 in the garbage. But if there's one thing that I keep saying all year, 2020 has really shown me what I am made of. Like it's just, and I feel like everybody has some kind of version of that across the board, like the hardships that we were faced, places that we never thought we would have to be in, we were in 2020. So we kind of just want to reflect on that. And then also just the idea of aging too. The idea of getting older, crossing your threshold of whatever that is for you, if you're going from your 20s to your 30s, going from your 30s to your 40s, and to not be afraid of that and what that looks like in our personal experiences. Kris, what would you say was one of the biggest takeaways for you this year?
Well, I'm so glad we're doing this little episode because it's so great that, first of all, we started this in 2020. We started this in this year, and it gave us such an opportunity to reflect. And also, I'm just so proud of us that we finally did this. I feel like this year has been, like you said, so trying, and there's been so much that has happened. But the silver lining of it all is it really gave us a chance to slow down and create newly from everything, because everything got, like, a lot of things got taken away from us, like social engagement and you know our jobs. A lot of our jobs are canceled and everything, and it just really gave me a chance. For me, it just gave me a chance to be like, wow, what is really the important things? It's like having relationships and building friendships and learning from, like, what can I take away from this? What can I actually learn from this? And like you said, it really showed you what you're made of and how you can deal with the most uncertain circumstances. Like, how can I be powerful in the face of this? And what can I create out of this? And the one thing I will say is, like, wow, I'm so proud of us that we built this thing. And, it's a little tiny baby right now, but we're expanding and having amazing guests on. And I'm just so grateful that we have the kind of friendship that we could do something like this together. So this is one of the biggest takeaways from this year. I will say that I'm so happy that we're doing this.
Yeah, I think on that, in that vein too, just saying yes, like leading with a yes this year, where usually you're just like, oh, let's wait, or oh, let's just, we need to have this in place first, or oh, this year is just like, you want to do it? Okay, let's do it. And then we're just here and just building off of that. And so many of our guests so far have had that same theme, like Renee and being a comedian. Like, if you're curious, try it. Like with Ashley in the van, just like, if you want to do it, give it a shot. It's just, how many things are we missing out on because we're just afraid to take the first step to even try it? So that was definitely a big lesson from this year.
Yeah, and just to, like, I love that. I love that so much. Like, just lead with a yes. And also, we had a lot of mortality stuff that we had to deal with this year. I mean, you had your father passing away and one of your best friends. It's like, if anything, this year has also shown me that life is so precious and fragile, and we don't know how long we have on this planet. So yes, lead with a yes. Do it now. when else are you going to do it? So it really was like a lot of hard lessons, so many people dying and everything happening. And it's just like, it really put me in check with the fragility of life and the preciousness of life. And that, you know what, things are going to happen, petty things are going to happen. But if you just don't forgive and be present, like we were talking about before, like just appreciating what you do have and living in the moment, because life is short. And you will always say, life is not a dress rehearsal. This is all we've got. And it's our job to make the best of it.
100%. And just like, you sent something to me a few days ago that was such a comfort. And just dealing with my dad and the passing, it was, and I'll place it here because I don't remember exactly, but it was basically just the meaning of life. It's supposed to be your impact on people, and what you leave people with, how you make them feel. It's not necessarily all of your accomplishments, because the biggest thing and the biggest part of my sadness with my dad passing is I just had this, oh, there was so much more that he could have done, and he wasn't as happy with his life towards the end, and what could have been, and da 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 da. And if I was a millionaire, I would be able to give him the life he wanted. And it was just, I just really got centered to, without him, I would not be here, obviously,
Mm.
but also without his contributions, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be the person that I am. Neither would myself or my kids, or like, we're here for such a short period of time. When you really look at the grand scheme of things, whether you're living till 30, 80, 90, we're here for such a short period of time. What are you going to do with it? Because at the end of the day, what you accomplish, how much money you make, the awards, when you go, you go. Like, the impact that lives on, your legacy that lives on, is the love that people carry for you, and how they tell stories about you, and how you've contributed to people, um, the love that you have for people. That is the biggest thing. And that was the
Mm.
hugest comfort to me, even as I stood at the pulpit at my dad's memorial, and I'm just like standing there making jokes and stuff. Like, that's my dad. Like, all of that in my personality, the goofiness, that is my father. I get my strength from my mom, but like, my dad was that part of my personality. And without him, I wouldn't have that. And I'm passing that on to my kids, and just everybody leave something, and just think about what it is that you want to leave. We're either here to make the world a better place, or we're here to cause hardship and drama and da, 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 da. It's just like, what is it that you want to leave? And I was always really clear that that was the legacy that I want to leave, is that when you have a conversation with me, you feel bigger after.
Hmm.
And yeah,
That's awesome.
that was a huge, huge thing that I learned this year.
That is so, I mean, what just came up for me is I read this book. It's called Unlocking Greatness. And they said in the book, like, write your eulogy now. Like, what is someone going to say about you when you're gone? Like, it has you be so present that it really matters what you're doing and saying now. Um, and not the petty stuff, because then there was something else I heard that said, like, what's going to be left of you in 100 years? Like, a picture of you, like we worry about the stupidest stuff now that is so not even going to matter in 100 years. So, like, what really matters now? And what you just said, like leaving someone bigger than you found them, leaving when we were in that leadership program, it's like leaving the bathroom cleaner than you left it. It's like you use that analogy for the world, like making someone feel better than they were before they encountered with you and interacted with you, and the, being that kind of person that cleans up a mess even if it's not yours. It's like that's what we can strive to be like. And just and I'm sure you've heard this so many times with people, like even today when I went into the hair salon, people were just like, oh my God, you have such a good energy and a good vibe, that it's like if you're leaving the place, people are going to remember, wow, this was like a good person and they made me feel great. And, just acknowledging people, like just, acknowledging that everyone is here is a miracle that's here. I mean, not to get like all spiritual, but the fact that we're here now in this time, like that I met you, and it's all a miracle. Like like I'm so grateful to even be alive, and have all my limbs and be able to talk and without assistance and all of that. It's like, you really, if you can just think about how there's so much to be grateful for, and when you start living in that context, spilling your coffee all over your desk is like not a big deal. It's like you start to really think about the things that really truly matter, which is what you said, like being grateful for your parents and loving them the way they are, the way they're not, and just having everything be a precious thing.
I love that. And two, there's no small thing. Like just even you being so kind and nice and like acknowledging everybody at the hair salon, like you don't know what somebody that you were gracious to was going through, that you may have changed their mood, or you may have, it's just like every act of kindness counts. You just don't, you don't know what that means to the other person. And I hope, especially with this change of administration, God willing, that that's going to spread, because I swear like the past 4 years has been a viral infection of just like, it seems like divisiveness, and it sounds corny as hell, but we just need more love in this freaking country. We really do. Like, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, if you're a Republican or Democrat, it's just like, just humanity needs to be restored. So, fingers
100%.
crossed. Fingers
Well,
crossed.
I have a question for you. So, what does it feel like to be turning a new age during this time? Like, what did you learn from this year? And what are you taking away into your new year, like another year older? What what would you say you got out of this year?
So good, Kristen. So, as much as I make fun of you for it, Kristen's quotes is really you said something so beautiful a few episodes ago, and it was, if you're always trying to get somewhere, you are never here. And that, in every aspect, in my career and family and my fitness, just being appreciative. And it sounds so cliche, and I swear I say cliches are cliches for a reason, because there's so much truth in it.
So true.
It's so much truth in it. If you're always trying to get somewhere, I'll be happy when I have this, or I'll when I have this, or I'll plan that trip after. It's just like, you're never here. You're never appreciating what you have. And even as simple as like, there's so many times, if Facebook gives you like, oh, on this day, Facebook memories, so many times it'll post like a picture of me at a gig or at a performance, and I'll look back and I'm just like, I really thought I was fat in this picture. Like I remember it's just like, oh, I thought I looked terrible in this dress. And I'm like, girl, after 2 kids, like I wish. And it's just like, that it just feeds the beast of just like always chasing the carrot, being the carrot and the rabbit and the carrot, like never really being happy with what you have. And even with my fitness, like working out 5 days a week, and no, right now at this moment in time, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm just like, when I first started working out, I couldn't even do one push-up. But now I'm just like, just appreciating how far I've come and being happy with exactly where I am right now, and not putting some kind of limitation on myself of like, oh, when I have this, or when I have this amount in the bank, I'll blah, 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 blah. It's just like appreciating where you are here right now, because if you don't, you're going to miss it. Then you're going to see a Facebook memory and you're just like, I was so amazing back then, but I didn't appreciate it. You don't want to do that. Just like look at what you have. We're always dealing with some shortcoming, some circumstance, or looking at someone else like, oh, if only I had what they had. Meanwhile, there's 50 people looking at you. Like, if only I had what they had. It's just like we're in this endless hamster wheel of comparison that you're missing your own life. And it's just like, that's what I really got. It's just like, no, I have not accomplished everything that I want in life, but that's the exciting part. That's not the where have I gone wrong? That's just like I have so much life ahead of me, so much that I haven't shown people that I can do yet. You know what I mean? And that is you can change your context of that. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this person, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're on your own lane. Just think of a race car. When you have all those fast race cars in a race, they have to keep their eye ahead because the second they look on the side, they swerve and crash. None of your business. None of your business what everybody else is doing or where they are. It has nothing to do with you. Just stay your course and enjoy exactly where you are. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. So that was mine. That was a word.
Gem drop central. And all I could think about was another quote. It's
of course.
There's no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. Because you're never gonna get there. Like you were saying, it's like you're gonna miss out on your own life. If you're always trying to get somewhere, you're never here. Just be like happy now. Because that's gonna get you everything you want.
That is so true.
Sometimes you're not ready for it. Like, and I could say this for myself, my own experience is like, if I would have gotten married 5 years ago, I would have been divorced. I just wasn't the type of woman that could handle being married. I was so self-centered or in my head, or there were things that I know that, like, I'm going to get spiritual for a second, but like, I know that God loves me because I needed to wait. Like, I needed to be where I'm at now to have a successful marriage and be a successful mom and to have everything be the way that I've always wanted it. But there was so much I needed to learn. Like, it was almost like I needed to be alone and figure out stuff in order to have something be successful. Like, it's almost like a blessing that I didn't get married yet. So, and I know that you say the same, you have said the same about you and your marriage, that, you know, it's sometimes it's just timing and being happy now and being grateful for what you have now, because that's the magic of life. When you can really get that there's nowhere to get, there's nothing, no place to go. This is now. and you live in that, then everything just is better. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, wow, okay, this is just what's happening and I'm happy. I'm happy now.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, you did explain it. It's like life is happening right now. It's happening in the present. That's it. Nowhere to get to. Stay your course. I think that's so beautiful. And it's almost like when you said before, just being happy with where you are now is kind of an opening for the life that you're going to get even.
Yep.
You know, and just if you don't have it, God didn't have it, you know, you're not supposed to.
Exactly.
It's not the time.
Yeah, that's like a great context to live from, because if you just think like, well, I'm just a screw up and I'll never have it and I'll never get where I want to go, then it's like, you're not going to, because you're not like accepting that maybe this is a blessing that you're where you're at right now. You're not ready yet. Like, I heard something from Marianne Williamson because I love her and I listen to her all the time. And she was saying, like, she had a person at one of her talks and she was like, oh, you know, I'm a singer and I'm, you know, why haven't I had a record contract yet? Like, why is no one noticing me? And she was like, honey, because God loves you. You're not ready yet. If you got that contract now, you would blow it. So it's kind of like, that's how I think about it with like relationships and stuff. It's like, God loves me. God, there's somebody up there watching, and like, it's not your time yet, but when it's your time, it's like going to be your time, because I definitely would have screwed it up. And I think that with us and the show and everything
Oh
that
my gosh,
transpired
yeah.
with that, it's like if we had done this years ago, we probably wouldn't have, it's like in divine timing. It's like if you really
Mm-hmm.
take that on, there are some things that just happen when the timing is right.
Absolutely. So true. Oh, so incredible. I love it so much. I just love talking to you. And I
I
do
love
miss
it.
hanging out with you
I
in
know.
person. I'm so grateful for this and having this like once a week meeting place. Uh I don't know. It's just been so amazing and great, and I'm just so excited um for where it's gonna go. And we're so Christmas right
We
now. Do
so
you see
are.
these colors? Look.
Yeah, we are.
So I wanted to
Oh
talk a
yeah.
little bit about the aging thing.
Yes.
For
Aging
all
gracefully. Well, you clearly are. You look like you're 35, so.
I mean, that's not that far away from how old I am. I was gonna say 25, Kristen. You're trying to give me a compliment. Um,
Okay,
true
30.
story. Okay, listen, true story. I was upstate having some breakfast and my mom was there. She is going to turn 61, I think. But
What?
there's literally the waitress came out and she was like, "How old are you?" And my mom said her age, didn't believe her, caused such a commotion. Kristen, when I tell you, she brought out everyone in the kitchen. Guess how old she is? Guess how old? And then it just kept happening. And I'm looking at Derek. I'm like, this is like in a Seinfeld commercial. So I'm just like, hey, if I got
Commercial.
those genes, I mean, this is like a Seinfeld show. I'm like, if I got those genes. So I think my mom, the way that she always related to age and she was like never afraid of it. I kind of got that from her. And I remember when I was younger, she would like make her age even more, like higher. But I don't know, the thing with age, just looking back, like I would never want to go back to my 20s. Never want to go back to my 20s. Never. Oh my God.
Oh,
I
never.
was a complete dingbat. And I'm not saying anything about this generation. Like I feel like this generation has some real chutzpah, but when I was in my 20s, child, oh my gosh, I was such a bird. I swear. If you don't know what a bird is, just making decisions that are just like, I don't know. Oh, I got offered a movie role and I didn't take it because I didn't want to make my boyfriend mad. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would never go back to my 20s. And just the
Never.
confidence, like thinking back at all the times I was in a room with someone or like had the opportunity to go after something, but I was just like, it's just like now I'm just like never. I would never. I don't know why I keep saying it like that, but
Okay, that's
I
my new favorite thing. Never.
would never. Because it's just, I don't know, just the older that you get, or at least for me, I can't like say universally everybody gets more confidence as they've gotten older, but I don't know, the older that I have gotten, there's just no like the shyness and oh, what are they gonna think about me and all of that is just, it's completely out the window. Like even us naming this show Best Friends with Benefits, I would have never done that.
Never.
I can't stop saying it. I would have never done that because like, oh, what are people gonna think about da 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 da. Now I'm just like, go ahead, click on the video, give me some views if you think this is something else, but you're gonna get some gems and some life coaching in between. But it's just like not caring about what other people think and doing things that make me happy is just
Mm.
such a gift that you get as you get older. And I could just only imagine just seeing my mom and just like how confident that she is. And she was just like, wait till you get into your 50s, girl. You're gonna love it. I'm just like, okay. And I'm just like seeing my grays, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait till I have like all head full of silver and I could have the Claire Huxtable's mom bob of my head. You know, it's just like, so if you're out there and you're afraid of getting older or what that means, or oh, you're not where you thought you were going to be. There's plenty of life ahead. People still have not seen nothing yet from you. Don't even worry about all of that. Just don't miss out on the life lessons that you've gotten up until that moment and apply them. Because we get life lessons all the time, but you got to actually apply them as well. Don't miss out on all that because you're just like, oh, I'm getting older. No, you're getting older, you're getting wiser. And now what can you do? Now, with all these lessons, what can you do that you were too afraid to do before? You know, Kristen, how are you feeling about getting older?
Girl, I have always said that if I had learned what I know now, like the work that we have done, the personal development work that we have done, if I would have done that when I was 13, I would have been Creonce right now.
Not
I,
Korea.
I would have been a superstar. I am not even 1% doubtful of that. Like I know I would have been a movie star, I would have been a dance. I don't know what I would have done, but I would have been so famous. And I love that what you said about when you were younger that you were so afraid of looking bad or what are people going to think and the opinions. I mean, I could literally, you recreated me. That was exactly the same. I was always so nervous of what are people going to think of me. I mean, that's why I never even had a boyfriend growing up because I'm like, oh, they're going to think I'm a slut. What are they going to think of me? And I mean, it was all looking good and avoiding looking bad and like not, whatever. So I'm so clear that and I love that what you said is like we still have our whole life ahead of us. Like there are so many people that got famous when they were in their 80s or their 70s, like the Black Panther lady that did a hit movie when she was like in her 80s. So it's like you never freaking know, man. And it's like once you have that confidence where you're just like, I don't care what anyone else thinks. Like this is my dream. I'm going for it. The same thing with this podcast. I'm like, I don't care what people think. Like we're doing it. And it's such a level of confidence that is so it's like a secure level of confidence because those people that can just like try to put on the swag and it's so fake and like they're fronting and like this is not real. Like this is from like I feel like our confidence that we've built is from such a sourceful, healthy place that it's like we talked about in the episode with Anthony about Beyonce, like showing up like that's her thing and not caring what anyone else thinks. It's like shining so bright that allowing someone else's light to shine. I feel like that's what we're doing because we're like, oh, you want to win, I want to win. Like if you win, I win. Like that's how I am with you. I'm like, if she's winning, then that's my win too. And it's like supporting each other with in that way and just like knowing that we still have so much stuff ahead of us, so many exciting things. Like I'm not married yet. I haven't had a baby yet. Like that's coming. Like there's things that are coming that we're going to celebrate. And, you hosting and doing all these things that you've always wanted to do. Like there's so much that we can do, and breaking those limitations. Like I always think of like Sia, it's like she was 45 when her album became a hit. It's like age doesn't matter anymore. It's like it doesn't even matter anymore. And it's even better when you're older and you break through because people are like, "Oh my god, see if she can do it at that age, then I can do it at that age." I also think about the girl from Grey's Anatomy. She didn't get on that show until she was like 40. Like it doesn't matter anymore. It literally is it's actually more exciting, to be honest. It's like if you could get that and I mean, they have so many examples of this, but it's just a testament to never giving up, like really living in that anything's possible and that age isn't going to limit you. The color of your skin isn't going to limit you. Where you grew up isn't going to limit you. Like you can do it. You can do anything. And that's why I love, when Obama was in office, it was like, yes, you can. Yes, I can. Like, wow. And now, thank God, we have someone who has that same kind of mentality of like, everyone deserves a chance. And it doesn't matter what you look like, the color, anything, your age, You know, you want to do it? He's the oldest freaking president of the United States. You know, Kamala Harris, first woman vice president, first woman of color vice president. Like, you can do anything. We can do
And that's
it.
the direction that we should be going in. And I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. But I love something you said of just not being done yet. What I really, really got, I remember thinking this too, like, no one can tell you that you have an expiration date on your dreams. Like, that doesn't happen. No one's going to come up to you, Kristen, and be like, you know what? I think it's time you hang this up. At a certain point, we make that decision. We have to call it. We say, okay, you know what? I'm going to give up on this. There's no defying thing where it's just like, you're done with this dream right now. You have to make that decision. Maybe what that dream is and what it looks like changes over the years, but you don't have to. There's always something that can fulfill you, that can fulfill your creativity. There's so many lanes now. Like, there's not this whole, I have to have a record deal. People are just, look at Anthony. He's just releasing music to people. And people are loving it. You know, it's just like, you don't have to be held down by any kind of rules. There really are no rules to it. You have everything at your fingertips. And then also thinking back to, gosh, if you would have, you know, done something when you're 13, or if I would have gotten the record deal when I was 18, I was really trying to get a deal back then, it just was not the time. You know, things happen when it's supposed to happen. God puts things in your way, in your path, when it's supposed to be there. Um, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the whole path that took me to this point and being the person that I am, good and bad. Like, it's all you think about, like, what's your biggest regret and would you go back and change it? But I'm just like, if I changed anything, that would, you know, butterfly effect set off for me not to be here right now in this moment. So it's just like, there are no regrets, there are only lessons in life.
I love that. I really love that. I really do. And I really, really points to that you're, like you said, you're the only person that can choose to, you know, go a different path or whatever. Like, no one can tell you what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. It's just really awesome to know that there's nothing really wrong, that everything that happens is happening now, and we always have a choice. We always have a choice of how we want our lives to go and how we think. And that's all I can say is, like, the power of choosing and choosing whether you do it or not, you know, and having the knowledge that anything really is possible. Like, God forbid I can't get pregnant. Okay, I can adopt a child. And what I give a child a life they probably never would have had. You know, it's like there's always a new way of thinking about it, that can empower you and have you feel complete with whatever you're choosing.
Oh, I love that you said that. And it's really going back to, if something derails you from achieving your dream, you just pivot. There's another way. There's always another path. Maybe it doesn't look exactly how you thought it was going to look. But the second you make up your mind about something, that's the second you stop exploring what the possibilities can be. So just definitely think about that. Maybe you're not, like, you know, if you're at home and you're listening to this and you're over 45 and you want to rap and nobody's listening to your music. I don't know. Maybe you can start doing jingles for like commercials, or there's always something that can still fulfill your dream. But maybe there's a pivot that you need to do. Maybe there's some work that you need to do on the craft to make yourself better. It's just like, never stop exploring. Just because we're out of school doesn't mean we stop learning and we stop exploring what is possible for us. Okay, well, I hope you guys got some really great things from today's episode, whether that is reflecting on your life, getting older, dealing with grief, dealing with being single, dealing with the woes of 2020. definitely do pass this along, tag a friend. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube to get this visual. And then also listen to our podcast on Anchor.